This is the time, the moment, the most special forms of creation and most special forms of fearlessness in which to take action and to be a part of love, be a part of the path, the straight and narrow, and more importantly, on my own unique path. That is the most important, one of the most important things, but definitely, probably the most important thing, is that I remain fearless and that there remains to be no fear because fear is non-existent. And I can explain a little bit more about what that means to me, but more generally and overall and like universally and just creationally, as in like everything in creation and everything that's a part of creation. Everything comes from within. And I know that more than ever. And I feel the different types of energies that are dancing within me. The gardens, the butterflies, the fullness of the realization that there's no need to indulge in fear. And a more important thing is to realize is that, there's fear-based reality, that's in the external reality. There's fear-based stuff that's been here for a long time, and I know that. Yet, I refuse to be a part of it. I refuse to be a part of fear, and I refuse to let a single cell of my body, a single quirk or a single atom of my body, to be involved in any energetic form that is less than the full height of greatness for my body and less than the full energetic capabilities that my body is capable of. My energetic body does not exist in fear. My intentions are never fear, and my intention, of course, is love, and my heart is love. My heart is strength, and my heart is pure. More importantly, there will never be ever any existence of fear in my body. There will never be any form of energetic degradation that intends to incarnate itself as fear and then rule and then just be the fear and the anxiety and all these emotions that would just weigh down on the energetic system and the nervous system. I do not have fear. I do not live in fear. I do not acknowledge fear. I do not say that fear is real, and I do not claim it as mine. I have no fear. And fear is not a part of my reality, and it's not a part of my path. And it never will be a part of my path. For a very, 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 very long time, fear has been the reality here on this planet, and just in general, fear has been present. And this is obviously my moment, which is an understatement, but this is my time to say that there's no more fear that I'm going to assimilate into. I'm not assimilating into any fear. I'm not imbuing and embodying any fear, and I'm not agreeing with the fear-based mindsets. And as a matter of fact, I'm far from it. And I know that more and more and more every day, and I notice that there's less and less reasons for me. Well, let's put it this way. There's no reason, and there never was a reason. But I know that I have power, and I have capabilities and tenacities, and I have accountabilities and responsibility, most importantly. And with that responsibility comes the truth of that fact that I need to be the most powerful, most creative, most epic version of myself. And that version of myself has nothing to do with fear and will not be allowed in the fear-based reality. Like, I don't know how clear I can make that. I don't know how more pertinent I can make that. I don't know how more intense and more desirable and more just potential that I can create that I can say that I could portray that. Like I am excellence. I am perfection on my path that is absolutely free from fear. And I do not I do not imbue fear, and I do not embody fear into my vessel. And I definitely do not keep it within me. None of that is my reality. None of that is what exists within me. Fear does not exist within me. And it seems like there are entities and there are beings, and there's, beings whose whole focus and whole purpose is fear, whose whole mentality, whose everything is fear, whose every purpose, every intent, every desire is fear. And that is not what I'm a part of, and that is not what I will let my mind be involved in. I'm a creator. I am a created being, and within me is the creator and the light of the creator. And within me is the unique fearlessness that I've always had, and I will always have. Because, I definitely do not in any way agree with fear-based realities, or with fear at all. And I am courageous, I am truth, I am honesty, and I am integrity. And I am all the qualities that are not fear. And I am everything that is not fear. And I choose to exist in a lifestyle and a path that does not exist in fear. And, of course, usually, I make a broadcast after, 9 or after 10 or after 11. And I wasn't able to make a broadcast, but nevertheless, I'm making a broadcast now. And I'm anchoring that truth that there are no ideas, no thought forms, and not even the smallest hint of energy of fear in my mind. And there will never be fear in my mind, because I am fearless. And being fearful is not a part of my reality. And the thing is, I am, if anything, I am the opposite of fear. And I really, really mean that, because I definitely am courageous and fearless, and then I actually cement the reality of the fact that I'm a full embodied being who's open, and the exact opposite of fear. And what does that mean? What does that mean to me? What is living in openness and the opposite of fear truly mean and truly exemplify? And my path is absolutely free from fear. And fear is blaming. Fear is convincing of irresponsibility. And fear is saying and telling and commitment to the fact that there are things that cannot be done. And the fact that there are things that you will be punished for. And that's not true. That's not true at all. And yet, this is something I carry with me. Yet, I refuse to hold on to it, I want to let go of all those forms of thinking, without a doubt. And I admit that I don't have any other form of thinking other than openness, and other than pure love, and unconditional love, and unconditional forgiveness, and unconditional acceptance. And the inherent, and it's said so well. The inherent ideas, the ideas that have been inherited from the environment that I live in, from the environment that I've been raised in, from the environment that I grew up in, and the environment that I developed in, is laden with fear, and is laden with mistrust, and is laden with lies, and is laden with deceit. laden. I think, well, I can't say that life is all about it, but life is about knowing the difference between fear and love. And I believe that I know that difference. And I believe that I am that difference. I believe that I am love, and I am the embodiment of love, and that I am pure love. And I don't agree with fear-based thinking. And I don't believe in fog, which is loaded with voices of fear, worry, fretting, and all kinds of negative beliefs about myself and what is possible in life. And it may seem cliche, but I want nothing to do with fear. I really don't want anything to do with fear. Because my reality is about fearlessness. My inner truth is about fearlessness and opening up to my inner being, my inner self, and more importantly to my inner child. I am unlimited, and I am limitless, and I know that I am fearless. Yeah. Fear is all about you must control yourself. You must live by certain strict rules, certain parameters. You must do this, you must do that. You must do your duty, you must be obedient. This is the way to live. This is how things are. Can't be too different. Can't act wild. Those forms of things and that way of thinking and that way of living is selfish, strange, and weird. and certainly not nice. Yet this is truly that's the phenomenon actually kind of want to crystallize. And it definitely makes sense, that this taboo is assumed by people who continually live with emotions that feel anxious and whose thinking reflects that fear. And I really do see it as a sense of a living entity. Like a living entity, fear is like a living entity. And it has its own existence, and it has its own thing, and it has its own way of living, and it's not that I try to understand it. I don't try to understand fear. But I don't believe in the fog, I don't believe in the fog of fear and anxiety and stress, and that's all false. It's all lies. It's a entity of fear that is ultimately fear. And life is about freedom. Everything that I want to do to the fullest, to every cell, every fiber, every aspect of me, everything that brought me to this world, everything that brought me to this earth, and before I even landed on this earth, before I even arrived here on this planet, I mean, I'm perfect in the terms of that I've never ever want to agree with fear, and I always want to be courageous, and I always want to be adventurous, and I always want to be committed. And that's what I want to discover, that's the path I want to walk, and that's the path that I will continue to walk, and that's the path that I will travel. That is mine, and that's what I claim. I refuse to live in fear. I refuse. I will never live in fear. I wish to live in freedom and liberty to its highest sense, to its highest potential, to its highest truth, to the highestness, the height of freedom, and then surpass that, and then become more free, and break free into that freedom. Yeah, it is true. Fog is actually nothing. and it's insubstantial. It's you can walk through it, put your hand through it. It's not substantial. And I believe that this fog really shouldn't have influence on me, my consciousness, and my vision of the world. Not only my vision as an actual sight, but my vision of the world. And fear shouldn't cloud that. It really, really shouldn't. And I want to go so far as to say that it doesn't. I refuse to live in fear. And I have to let go of the past. Truly let go. I have to let go of the past energy of fear, of those things that I think I'm holding on to, or the things that I may be holding on to. You know, I gotta let it go. I gotta let it go. And I have to face that side of me. You know, I have to face the darkness that is within me. It is true. The old, facing the fog. It's something I have to do alone. It's something I have to do absolutely alone. It's something I have to do for myself, as an individual. Not even just as an individual, as a pure being, as a soul being. I gotta do it for myself. Respect myself. Cheer on myself. And I need to listen to the voice of the soul and of love. And not the voice of fear, which is noisy, jerky, and restless. And often works through thinking by way of the mind. And there's the biological response of panicking, and it's not good. I want to be refined, and I want to be fearless. Like, I can't express that enough. I want to be truthful in that aspect. That true rest and peace creates much openness around me. And I just must stay in the now, stay in the fifth dimension, but more specifically stay in the here and now, in the eternal now, and just trust. Just be honest that I can predict nothing. And just live my life step by step. Being present in the now. Being the beautiful, brave, good soul that I am. And feel the energy of my soul. And just feeling that as I am. You know, feel the energy of my soul. as good, beautiful, and brave as I am. And I want to invite my soul to come to me. And I know that there is no judgment in that field. And everything is always acceptable for my soul. And so it is. And so it is.